In this video, I'm going to teach you step by step the tactics I use to double my e-commerce clients' traffic in just 6 months. My name is Matt Diggity and I'm a director at the Search Initiative, a 7-figure boutique SEO agency. In April 2021, we brought on a client in the freaking coolest e-commerce niche ever, which I'll reveal shortly.
This SEO campaign was on a timer. We needed to get fast improvements so the customer could crush it during Black Friday and the rest of the holiday season.
If we didn't, they were going to drop us. But by using the tactics I'm about to show you in this video, we were able to double their traffic in a super safe way, which resulted in their biggest numbers to date. As mentioned before, the client's niche is cool AF. They're one of the world's biggest dealers of collectible and rare sneakers. Jordans, Dunks, Yeezys, they got all of it. As soon as we brought them on, I was like, yes, I'm going to buy their whole catalog. But being one of the biggest operators in the space was both a blessing and a curse. A blessing because they had thousands of products and a ton of topical authority around the topic of sneakers. Don't worry, I'll explain topical authority later. A curse because they had thousands of unoptimized product pages and categories. Plus, the content they did have on all these pages was not helping their conversions at all. Not to mention, navigation on the site was difficult to say the least. If I was having trouble getting around the site, then customers were too, and so was Google's robot. So we decided that in order to hit our target before time ran out, we needed to focus on SEO that was going to make a difference. And that's what I'll show you how to do in this video. If you run an e-commerce website, or any website for that matter, then this video is for you. We're going to get into how to actually write your category and product description content. This is something I see people do wrong all the time. How to perform on-site optimization, specifically for an e-commerce website. How to leverage internal linking like a boss. A super straightforward backlink strategy that got us some major links, plus a lot more. But before we get started, I'd like to give a huge thanks to the sponsor of this video, and that's the YouTube like button. The like button sponsored this video with the mere hopes of getting smashed by viewers just like yourself. So if you can please make its wish come true, that'd be great. In all seriousness, no one sponsored this video, so I'm making it for free. But pressing the like button helps me know if you'd like to see more content like this. So thanks. Category and product pages are the most important pages on your e-commerce site. These are the pages where you're convincing users to buy what you're selling. So it's crucial that the content on these pages is optimized for both search engines and for users. Let's start with category pages. These are typically the highest priority pages to rank. If you were a website trying to sell men's sweatshirts, the first thing you'd want to do is Google men's sweatshirts and see what type of content is already getting rewarded by Google. Let's dissect one of the top ranking pages from Uniqlo.
This page has only a couple sentences at the top explaining the kinds of products that the user can find, but yours, like our clients, may have lots of content at the bottom of the page.
Why do you think Uniqlo did it different?
Because content at the bottom of an e-commerce category provides little value, as most readers never get to the bottom. And what if there's an infinite scroll on the page?
So what do? You do the same thing. Put your content at the top and keep it brief because that's what Google wants to see. As far as what to write, here's a few must-follow strategies for optimizing your category content. Include your core keywords within the first few sentences of your content, but avoid keyword stuffing. Describe the range of products available within the category. If you have wool hoodies, cotton hoodies, and nylon hoodies, mention that. Remember to include internal links to other relevant categories, products, and landing pages on your website. You'll learn more about internal linking later in this video. And lastly, make your category descriptions unique. Now that you got categories down, let's move on to product descriptions. My first tip for writing product descriptions is to really think about your customer when writing them. Different products are suitable for different types of customers. Here's some examples. High buyer awareness customers already know what they're about to buy. There's no need to explain it to them. Here's a product listing for an ASOS plain t-shirt for men. You know what this is, right? You don't need someone to explain that it has a hole on the top for your head and 2 for your arms. Thus, their product description hits it perfectly with its quick, skimmable content about quantity, fit, and so forth. Low buyer awareness customers need more hand-holding in order to make a purchase. You're not just going to buy a TV from the way it looks. So this product description on johnlewis.com goes hardcore on making sure you know all the specs your heart desires. You can also do a hybrid approach like this camera's product description does. See how there's some nice bullet points summarizing it. But when you click on the description tab, you get blasted in the face with content. Ultimately, look on page 1 to see what's already working in your niche. With your product descriptions, you also want to be informative. Assume that the user wants to know everything they can about your product before they buy it. Apart from the basic stuff like the product's name and brand, consider adding the following. Features and benefits. What are the main selling points of the product and how do they benefit the user? Specifications. How many giga mega kilogram watts does it have? How to use it or how to clean or maintain it? And FAQs. All the frequently asked questions from other customers. The next product description tip is to make your descriptions unique. Having duplicate content on your site can affect its chances of ranking. The biggest mistake you can make in the e-com game is to copy and paste descriptions from the manufacturer's site. Here's an e-commerce site that swiped the product description from the Dyson hairdryer page. Now don't be too harsh on them. Over 700 other sites made this mistake too. But how does this page rank? Position 20. Google doesn't want to display multiple versions of the same piece of content over and over again to its users. The final product description tip is to have a nice layout for your description. How you format your description is just as important as the copy. This product description for a sexy turntable has broken the content down into details, specifications, reviews, and delivery. It's nice and organized into tabs. You can also use headings, bullet points, images, and videos to help with your descriptions. I now want to get into e-commerce site architecture. This is the absolute bane of SEOs getting into e-com.
I will break you.
E-commerce sites can easily spiral into a hot mess when product pages aren't categorized properly. But it's not only that, if Google can't crawl and understand your website, then you can assume that your visitors can't either. Our client had the same issue, unfortunately. So my team at the Search Initiative put in considerable effort to create a clear site structure with natural internal linking, and Google loved us for it. Here's how you do the same.
Have a shallow crawl depth. Users should be able to reach each page on your site from the home page in no more than 4 clicks. Split products into relevant categories and subcategories. This diagram depicts a pretty nice structure.
If you have products that fit into more than one category page, for example, you might have a shoe that's both casual and athletic, I highly recommend using rel canonical to point to the most relevant category URL for the product. Just decide which category that is. Ensure each level on the structure links back to the level above it. Products should link up to subcategories. Subcategories should link to parent categories, and so forth. And lastly, be clear and simple. Structure your pages to reflect how users would visit your site in a logical and clear fashion. Now, if you set up your structure clearly, your URLs are going to be clean too. I recommend using a URL structure like this. You got categories after the domain name, subcategories after categories, and products after the subcategories. In practice, if you had an e-commerce store selling phones, it would look like this. Here's some more tips when creating your URLs. Aim to keep them short and sweet. Try to include your core keywords within the URL. Separate words with hyphens instead of underscores. And make it easy for users to understand the hierarchy of pages. Now, we couldn't talk about site structure without getting into internal linking. Google uses internal links to discover new content. Google themselves said some pages are known because Google has already crawled them before. Other pages are discovered when Google follows a link from a known page to a new page. If you have pages that have no internal links, also known as orphan pages, then you just made it impossible for Google to find them. Internal links also convey the importance of a page. Google also straight up said the number of internal links pointing to a page is a signal to search engines about the relative importance of that page. And lastly, well-placed internal links will keep your visitors on your site longer and increase their chances of actually buying something. Let's start with navigational internal links. These are the links that appear in your navigation bar. If we look at Uniqlo's nav bar, you can clearly see their category and subcategory structure. It's done perfectly and follows the model structure we were referencing before. Now, contextual links are made in the content of one page and linked to another page.
You want contextual links going downward from category to subcategory to product, and upwards the other direction. This is going to happen naturally with your typical WooCommerce or Shopify e-commerce layout.
You can also do horizontal linking where one product links to another product, maybe because people usually buy them together, or they're related products such as a raincoat and a rain boots. I also recommend making a blog where you can target long-tail keywords or top-of-the-funnel keywords such as this Uniqlo Summer Style Guide. Not only will it help get more visitors to your site, but you'll be creating more internal links to your products, which creates more relevance and more opportunity for visitors to find and buy these products. By the way, if this sounds like a lot of work or you just want us to do it for you, reach out and let's talk. Head on over to thesearchinitiative.com and use the form here at the bottom. This will set you up for a free website quick audit and consultation from one of our best. Moving on, now that you got the basics handled, let's move on to Onsite Optimization. The problem with optimization for e-commerce sites is that you often have hundreds or even thousands of pages to optimize. The solution? Prioritization. Go to Analytics and click on Acquisition, All Traffic, Channels, Organic Search to pull up a screen like this. Now click Landing Page and sort by session. Boom, now you have a list of your most visited pages that need your help. If you set up analytics properly for your e-commerce site, click on Conversions, E-commerce, Product Performance to pull up which pages are making you the most money. Another great way to prioritize. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to make a video on analytics setups. Let's start our on-site optimization journey by optimizing your alt tags. These are image attributes that Google wants you to fill out. It helps the user experience of visually impaired users, helps build topical relevance, and helps your image end up in Google image search. When writing optimized alt tags, you want to be descriptive but concise and include keywords but don't keyword stuff. If I were writing an alt tag for the sexy sneaker here, a poor one would just say sneakers. An okay one would say white and red sneakers. And a great one would say women's Nike Air Max 1 Ultra sneakers in white and red. Now let's move on to H1s, also known as heading tags. Want to know another bane of e-commerce SEOs?
It would be extremely painful for you.
Duplicate H1s. What do you think Google thinks when you have duplicate H1s? They don't know which of those damn pages to rank, so they rank none of them. Here's how to find duplicate H1s with the free version of Screaming Frog. Enter in your website name at the top and hit start, and wait for your website crawl to finish on up to 500 pages for free. Click on the H1 tab under the drop down on the left, select duplicate. Boom, here's your list of duplicates. Fix that shit. Here's how you should be writing well-optimized H1s instead. Include the core keywords that you want to rank for close to the beginning of the heading. This helps to build topical relevance and increase your chances of ranking for these terms. Make sure each is unique like we just talked about, and describe what the page is about to ensure users and search engines know exactly what they can expect to find on the page. If you were optimizing an H1 on a page for smartphones, here's an example of a crappy one, and here's a good one. You can clearly see the difference. Let's move on to SEO titles, also known as page titles. We'll talk about meta descriptions too. The SEO title is the HTML element that you optimize that shows up directly in the search result. That is, when Google doesn't rewrite it. The meta description is the part that shows up at the bottom here. Unless you hate your life, it's nearly impossible to write unique titles and descriptions for a 1,000-page e-commerce site. But it's a necessary evil. So my advice is to create templates that can be automatically applied. Here's an example of a template for a product page. We have our SEO title up here at the top that just has the product name, then a separator like a vertical bar, and then the brand name. An example would look like this. Then we have a template for the meta description that follows the same idea. And here's what it comes out looking like. It's very similar for categories. Here's what it ends up coming out like. And the meta description is business as planned. If you'd like to learn more about Onsite Optimization, I left a link in the description to a free Onsite SEO guide. Download it for free. Now, how can we have an SEO case study without talking about backlinks? You probably noticed that I often come back to the same theme. The answer to ranking is already on page 1. I'm going to show you a quick process to get the links that your top ranking competitors already have. Jump in Ahrefs and type in the primary keyword that you want to rank for into Keyword Explorer. Scroll down to the top ranking competitor pages and make a note of the top 3 or 4 competing pages that are related to your site. Now head over to the link intersect tool and enter in your competitors here at the top. We're going to find out who linked to them and didn't link to our website, which you've typed in here at the bottom. I like to select 3 or 4 targets here to find out who most of my competitors have a link from. These are the must-haves. These are the links that you need to get first. Now what? Now it's time to start your link building process. For the high-end links, I highly recommend trying digital PR. This is where you're creating newsworthy stories, typically big data studies, reaching out to journalists and then telling them about your story. With any luck, they'll pick up your story and feature it in the big publication. But I'll be frank, when this technique works, it rains backlinks, but it's hit and miss and takes some skill. Alternatively, and for free, you can land high-end links with Helper Reporter, also known as Haro. Haro is a free platform that gets you in touch with journalists that need an expert quote to place into their articles.
Create a persona for your website or use the CEO of the business to answer daily queries that come out.
With consistency, you're gonna land some high-end links. The key word here is consistency. We've hired plenty of people to do this work for us. Consistency is the differentiator. Now for the low-level links, I use an outreach technique that seriously increases your success rate by 64%. That's a pretty precise number. Yeah, because I tested and tracked it. What you want to do is reach out to people that you want to link from and offer to write them content that you know they can rank for. And you show them proof. It's beyond the scope of this video, so I left a link to a video that explains it in the description so you can watch it later. What are we doing for anchor text? Anchor text is a clickable text that takes the user to the target URL. It's important in Google's algorithm for establishing relevance on the receiving end of the backlink. You can easily check your anchors in Ahrefs. This particular URL is freaking overloaded on unvaried, target-rich anchor text. And guess what? It doesn't rank for shit. If you want to figure out the perfect anchor text distribution, look at your competitors. Surprise, surprise! But if you're too lazy to do that, here's a general breakdown of what we typically see work. Since coming on with us, our clients' link count grew steadily over time. Their domain authority increased from 36 to 45, and we landed a ton of sexy links for them. Here's a few of their stats. All this hard work turned out to be a big win for our client. The number of top 10 organic keywords they ranked for grew from 3.6K to 17.2K, an increase of 375%. Traffic doubled over the time frame of the campaign, and we're not even done yet. The sky's the limit. And let's not forget, they're making twice as much money. That's the important thing. If you want a hand with your site, whether that be an e-commerce site or whatever type of website you have, reach out to us at the Search Initiative. And make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one.